that you've signed up to, and we share together, is to be your best in all you do.
And greatness can only be measured by the difference between before you showed up and after you showed up. If I look at the number of people whose lives have been transformed by your voice, that's how we measure your greatness. I want to talk to you about what makes your heart so special. It's called your desire. So your heart has this incredible capacity to desire. And when it desires, it has no limit to what it can desire other than what has already been apportioned to you before the foundations of time. I'm going to say that again. Anything that is not yours from the foundations of time, your heart, I didn't say your mind though, I said your heart has the capacity to be able to desire it. And because the heart is such a powerful member of your soul, which is the connector of your soul and your spirit, your heart has the ability to resource, let me put it this way, to command the earth. And because the earth, when it hears your heart's desire, is already resourced for everything. Remember, the earth is full and waiting in agony, like a mom that is lactating, that is just waiting for this child to suck. The pain of you not sucking is causing the mother more distress than the pain of releasing. The earth is full and it is in agony because your desires are supposed to suck on the resources required for you to do the things that you can do. But the heart has the capacity to be limited. Not just by time and space, because it doesn't, that nothing can stop it. But it has the capacity to be limited with a contemporary in the soul called the mind. And your mind is the portion of your soul that highlights to your consciousness. So your mind is the place where you on earth are operating consciously. So your mind, don't forget, your soul has three chambers. Your soul has three chambers. Your soul has the mind, your soul has your heart, and your soul has your emotions. Your emotions is the part of your soul that is connected to your physical being. Your heart is the part of your soul connected to your spirit being. And then your mind is the place where consciousness is acquired. And so many times your emotions scream for your mind, but your heart whispers to your mind. And what then happens is that through the process of focus, through the process of mastery of life, you then have the capacity to quieten the screams. You have the capacity to quieten the screams of your emotions so that you can hear the whispers of your heart. I said through the process of self-mastery, you have the capacity to quieten the screams of your emotions so that you can hear the whispers of your heart. It is with your heart that you believe. Your heart knows things because it is connected to eternity. So, technically speaking, if you follow your heart, you can't fail. The question is, do you know the sound of your heart? Do you know the voice of your heart? And the voice of your heart expresses itself as desires. The problem with with us as people is that because every time your heart desires, it desires at the speed of, I like to say it, at the speed of desire. If I said to you, how many of you would love to change the world and make it a better place right now? Yes or no? You know, how many of you would love to be empowered with $10 billion to do anything that you can to change the world? Yes or no? It doesn't take you, now, before I finish talking, your heart already knew. But once we go to the mind says, calm down, calm down. How much did you call it? $10 million, $10 billion. How many zeros is 10 billion? Where are we going to get it from? Who will give it to us? Where are they? Okay, is it going to be by transfer? The mind begins to process at the speed of time. The heart processes at the speed of eternity. So guys, understand what I'm trying to say. If you follow your heart, you will soon discover the truth about who you are. Now, take a look at this DNA. What does it remind you of? I was in Calabar, I was in Uyo one morning. I was going to speak at the House on the Rock in Uyo a few years ago. And at 4:30, I was awoken. And as I woke up, I saw this slide. I had not yet built this slide, but this exact slide, I saw it. And God said to me, what do you see? And I wasn't sure. I was trying to figure out ladder, spiral. Anybody else? Anything else? What do you see? What do you see? I can see steps. Yes, I can see a spiral. And then God started to use something like a red pen to draw up something. And ladies and gentlemen, this was what I saw. Look at it again. If you isolate two nodes, look at it. If you isolate two nodes, and I screamed in the morning, oh my God. And he said to me, my son, you are limitless. 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 I have resourced you with everything to meet your desires, your needs, and your aspirations. And there is a scripture that already says, according, 2 Peter 1 and 3, according as his divine power has given, not will give, all things that pertain to life and godliness. Oh! So on that note, it became clear to me that lack is an illusion. Please write it down. Lack is an illusion. And you must never operate from the platform of lack. Lack is not real. It may look real to those who look with their external eyes, to those who operate in the physical or in the flesh, who operate still in the mystery of life. But those who operate from the platform of the mastery of life understand that all things have been provided. They understand simple things like that, you know, Ephesians chapter 1, blessed be the name, be the God of our Father, blessed be the God of the Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, who has blessed us with all spiritual blessings. Now, the challenge is, how do we manifest all spiritual blessings? Because you can't live in a spiritual house. You can't live in a you can't live in a spiritual house. You can't drive a spiritual car. You cannot, enjoy spiritual children. You cannot, in fact, by God's grace, you will not marry spiritual husband. Yeah, I don't know whether you know what I mean by that. Or marry a spiritual wife. So the point is, how do you then translate what has been done for you in the spirit into the physical place so that you can be able to command matters? And the process is quite easy. Please write it down. The first is, it comes via inspiration. So the flow from the heart is called inspiration. And when it touches, that inspiration is the flow from spirit to your heart. That's the place where, and so what you got to do is, your soul has got to be quiet enough through a process called meditation. For you to get light from the data, from the thing that has been told you, the inspiration that has been given to you. You need to ponder on it. Once you get light on it, you have come to the place of understanding. So you're going to go from inspiration to meditation to understanding. What you get through the process of inspiration is called revelation. That's what you get through the process of inspiration. Once you get to the place of understanding, now you are in the place of consciousness around that thing that has been deposited in spirit. You now need to get information. When you add information to understanding, you are now ready for application. And the way your heart or your mind now speaks to your body is through instruction. Can somebody just, I hope I've not confused anybody there. I'm breaking down this thing. So it starts with inspiration, and inspiration passes on revelation into your heart. And that begins to tell you what is possible, what can be. And once you have been able to receive it as revelation, you now need to sit on it and brood on it. And once you brood on it, you stay with it until light comes out of it. What that means by light is that all of a sudden, now you get it. And it comes when you now personalize that matter. You now receive personal understanding of that revelation that has come to you. But at the place of understanding, you now need to go in search of information, because there's really nothing new under the sun. So you get information that will support your understanding and enhance it. Then you will now, from the place of information, come into, you're poised for application. You're now poised to apply. But the only way you can apply it is by giving your body instruction. So that's when you say, write the letter. You give your body instruction. Your body follows that instruction, and the rest of the world is looking at it and saying, wow, wow, wow. For instance, I am receiving per second inspiration, right? And as I am here, there is a flow of inspiration coming. I'm not able to capture all of it, but I'm capturing some by revelation. And even as I am here, through practice, I've learned how to process the thing that is coming. And then, bam, I get light. I'm like, wow, Guys, I just got this one. Everything you permit remains. I had never heard it until we were in class yesterday. I had never heard it. Then, bam, everything you describe sustains. And then the third one, I don't know how many people saw me struggle with it. And then Andy, and I had to go back. What did you say? What did you say? What did you say? What did you say? All of this was happening live and direct in front of you. And then it came, boom, whatever you command becomes. It will remain with me for the rest of my life. It's a word of life. It cannot be forgotten. It's one of those things that somebody is going to say, Fela said, but it wasn't Fela that said anything. I just received it. Received it as revelation, brooded on it very quickly. It became understanding to me. It made sense. That's what it means. It made sense. And then I found the words to articulate the thing that made sense. And I released it as instruction to my tongue. My tongue gave you the words. And all of a sudden, that which was in the spirit became what is on your paper. So life in mastery starts with processing from the physical. Sorry, life in mystery starts in processing from the physical. Life in mastery starts in processing from the spirit. So, to the man who sees something in the physical, who has the mastery of life, they go to the spiritual to go and get the solution to the problem that they see in the physical. They don't look to the physical for the solution, they go into the spirit. What do I need? How did we solve this problem? Because if the problem was not solved, it will not come to your attention. Let me explain to you, nothing qualifies to be called a problem if it does not have a solution. It has to be called something else. For it to be called a problem, it means it was already solved. So all you need to do now is to find out what was the solution. Did you notice I didn't say what is the solution? Does anybody understand why I said what was? Because eternity has already passed now. It's like when I'm going to speak, I ask the Holy Spirit most times, what did I wear tomorrow? I didn't say, what will I wear tomorrow? I say, what did I wear tomorrow? So what he does is to then show me the picture. I then go and put the clothes together, and then I go. The moment I show up, everything else begins to recognize me as it was from the foundation of time. So the power of everything is in alignment. So it just moves. Which is why you cannot go and live in a house that you did not ask about. I want you to write this down. There is a location for every location. It's not every gateway that is your gateway. It's not every office that is a job. There are appointments that are traps. You got to start from there. Everything required for your desires, your needs, and your aspirations has already been given. But you now need to train your mindset. And by practice, you see with your eyes, or you look with your eyes, quickly go into the place of the spirit. Go and say, what is the matter? What exactly is it? So every time I'm in a meeting and I'm speaking to anyone, I am speaking and I'm listening with true ears. I'm listening to what you are saying and I'm hearing what he's saying. And as he's speaking to me, because I'm very aware of what's going on in the spirit, so I'm listening. And then I say, boom, something. And then you just see the person break down and begin to cry, like today. Just cry. There is a lady who whose sister passed away a while ago. And she had to literally, therefore, adopt the children because, unfortunately, she and her husband had separated and the man is living by himself, blah, 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 blah. And so this lady already had 2 daughters and then now has 2 more boys that are living with her. And so I felt led to call her to ask how she's doing today. And God said to me, just tell her that she's loved. I'm like, God, tell her she's loved. This is a single woman. Me, I'm here. And then someone say, you are loved. You are loved and I love you. I did the same thing. Tell her. And as the lady just said to me, you don't understand. This is all I needed to hear. She said, I said, so how are you doing? She said, there's some good days and then there's some tough days. I said, I hear you. She said, but on the tough days, sometimes when I'm like, gosh, how am I going to carry the burden of this thing? Said, and then for the last 2 years, I haven't been working. So it's like God wanted to show me that it is not my job that will sustain these boys. He said, but every time, Fela, that we are praying and we're saying, Lord, how do we do it? You just send us something. And what you send us is the exact amount that we need. It has not failed in at least a year. So I smiled. And he said, and there are times when I just feel like, gosh, this is too much for me. And I would see my sister and she would just be smiling. Like as if, hey. So I said to her, there's something I need to tell you. Because God had deposited something in my heart. But the thing was too heavy for me to find the words for. But by the time I had meditated on it with speed, I said, there's something I need to tell you. I said, have you ever heard of this thing called surrogacy? As soon as I said it, she just burst out crying. So now I'm thinking, I've not even said what I need to say. She started crying. I waited for her to cool down. I said, so do you know what surrogacy is? She said, yes. I said, well, I just wanted to tell you that your sister who passed on was just a surrogate. Those children are not your sister's children. They are your children that your sister brought in for you. They were not the children of your sister that she left to you, wailing. So finally, what happened? She said to me 2 weeks ago, he said, what you may not know is that I have never had a child of my own. So even the children that you know with me, that are my 2 daughters, one of them belongs to my brother, and the other one belongs to someone who passed on in my office that I took on that child. So I have 2 children. One belongs to my brother. My brother passed on at some point in time, and I took on the little girl, and then another person in the office, and I took on that one. And then my sister, and I just had to take them on. So at this point in time, I'm crying because I have no way of knowing. And she said, listen, 2 weeks ago, a friend of mine who knew me from childhood knew that I could never have kids and came to my house and said, hey, mentioned her name and said, do you know that you have more children than me now? And that for the first time, she started to realize that, oh, these are not her brother's kids. These are not nephews and nieces. These are her children. I said to her, in the spirit, your sister carried a children for you. Not that she gave you children, physical. When she finished her job, she went back. She'd finished her purpose. Guys, let me explain to you what I'm saying. That comes from not being, it's not anything, it's not about Fela, it's about it's not FD, guys. It's about you being just you. That's what is called a vessel. You have the capacity to receive from the Spirit and release into the atmosphere. Receive from the Spirit. Write it down. The capacity to receive from the Spirit and release into the atmosphere. That is how you can know things nobody taught you. So when you now go and speak in front of people, a crowd, and you are speaking on any topic, whether the one you are assigned to or the one that you came in by, you will speak and it will sound like people will gasp for breath. And when they gasp for breath, they cannot breathe, they can't describe it. Because the word that you're speaking is spirit and it is life. And you can take spirit and life and take it into banking. You can take it into telecoms. You can run a customer service training and people will be transformed. You can speak to people. You can do anything as long as you are receiving it by revelation and then releasing it into the atmosphere. Look at the next slide. Do you realize what just happened? Oh boy. I want you to write down a word that describes you the most. I want you to understand that many of the words you've used are the words that you have, through either encounters with people, they've given you some kind of feedback as to what it is that is what you do for them, right? But you have to understand something, that in the spirit, you already were named by your purpose. I'm going to say that again, please write it down. The identity that you carry in your spirit is the identity of your purpose. I told you that a remote control was called remote control before it was designed. They didn't say, you know what, let us design Krapatuka Tenkatanka. So what's that? I don't know. Maybe when we finish, we will know what to call it. But right now, it's a Krapatuka Tenkatanka. No, there is a name given to it. Somebody would say, let us design a flask. And it will have a straw. Now, we may not know what straw is, but straw, somebody says straw, then they go and design this thing. In other words, you are designed to fit your name. Write it down, write it down, write it down. You are designed to fit your name. You are equipped to fit your name, and your name is the purpose that you are sent to fulfill. Your name is the purpose that you're sent to fulfill. I want you to write that down. So if you are sent to inspire the world, your name is inspired. That's what your name is in the spirit. When they are discussing you, they use your spiritual name. So it is possible that the world has not even experienced you. Because here it is that you think that this is what it is that you do. And because what you've been doing, for all you know, is defective success. So the world has been describing you by something, and yet who you are in the spirit is slightly different. So I'm just going to quickly touch on this because I need you guys to understand. Don't worry, I'm coming to the realm of your soul, and we're already, as you can notice. Let me quickly just describe this for a second. You know, a day I was driving on the streets of Lagos, and this was on Mile 2. And I was in the traffic, and I saw this car by my side, and I'm not sure how many of you have ever seen anything like this, because some of you who don't live in Nigeria don't understand what this is. But essentially, I saw this is a tow truck. But as I drove up beside it, I heard the Spirit of God say to me, and from the beginning it was not so. So I say, what was not so? As I looked to my left again, what I saw was the day that this truck was coming out of the factory. And it was coming out of the factory into like a parking lot. And it was gorgeous. It was, oh my God. And then the people who had worked on it in the factory were looking, and two of them were talking to each other. And one of them said, all of this was an encounter, it's a spirit-led encounter. And he said, oh, I wonder which Lord is going to drive in it. The other one said, I wonder where it's going to be parked. And the other one said back to it, I wonder what conversations are going to be taken inside it. The other one said, conversations? I wonder what decisions are going to be made inside it. I wonder whether those decisions are going to affect our lives and how they're going to affect our lives. Because they were thinking around this for cars like this. This car in my mind was produced in 1975, if I was to try to see. And it's the kind of car that the Queen of England was driving in 1975. Only lords. Now, question now is, I have to ask you, is this Range Rover fulfilling purpose? Yes or no? Is this Range Rover working? Is it working? Yes. Is this Range Rover earning? Yes. So it's working, it's earning, but is it fulfilling purpose? No. Now, let's be clear. I'm sure there might be somebody who is going to be one of the people who will say, yes, and then we'll have to hear your perspective to this. But one thing we know is this, right? Is that purpose is what existed in the creator before the creation found expression. Write that down. Purpose existed in the creator before the creation or creature found expression. So this is what we know. When those guys were creating this particular Range Rover, did they create it with the intention of being a tow truck? No. We know that for sure. Did they give it the capacity to tow cars if cars were broken down? Yes. But was it created to be a tow truck? No. So the name of this car is not tied to what it can do, it's tied to what it was meant to do. So that you can work in a bank doesn't make you a banker. It will never make you a banker. That you studied banking in school will never make you a banker. Only if you were sent to be a banker can you be a banker, whether you are working in a bank or you are not working in a bank. You cannot change the name that you were called. But when you align with your name, your identity will be revealed to all. Why? Because you will now be able to operate with the fullness of power. That's something that was very interesting about this car. You know, I said to myself, oh my God, I wonder if Range Rover ever saw this car, how they would feel. And the moment that happened, it was a pain in my heart, as in a sharp pain. I cannot describe it. I was driving, I bent over. Pain! And what happened? Apparently, God said, now you know how I feel when my children do not fulfill their purpose. Oh my God, that pain is still indescribable till tomorrow. And yet the person is working, the person is earning, the person is going out in the morning and coming back at night, and God is in pain looking at this person. And I found something that's very interesting. So if you're going to work with the mastery of life, you have to have a clear sense of purpose. You've got to now be able to find a way for your purpose to turn into a mission. Your assignment, which is also your mission, is the expression of your purpose in time and space. It's the expression of your purpose in time and space. And it can change. But I also want you to understand that your assignment is graced by those three things I said. It's graced for performance by your talent. It's graced for performance, please remember that. It's graced for performance by your talent. It's graced for comfort by your personality. And it is graced for enjoyment by your passion. Your assignment is graced for performance, for excellence, for you to do excellently well in it by your talents. That's the way God gives grace for performance. Through your personality, your assignment receives grace, or you receive grace for comfort in your assignment, for authenticity in your assignment. And then, of course, through grace, your assignment receives joy through your passion. So every time you're working in alignment with what you were created for, greatness is the natural result. Because what happens is that you may notice, I don't know how many people would agree with me, but listen to the question. Have you noticed how it seems that time flies when you're doing something you love? Have you noticed it before? You know what's happening? Because all of a sudden, you're stepping into the eternal version of yourself. You're stepping into the place of eternity. Do you notice how fast you read something you enjoy reading? I'm not sure how many people remember, especially when you have a course that you don't like and a course that you love. All of a sudden, meanwhile, something then happens and do you understand? Your being, every part of your being will begin to maximize function once it is in the right place. When I went to do an MBA, the same brain that could not produce a 2-1 produced a distinction in MBA. The same brain, the same eyes that could not see anything in undergraduates. A friend of mine, Tosa and Jamie Day, makes cakes. Some of you may know it, Cakes by Tosa. Tosa built the tallest cake in the world. It's a Guinness Book of Records. It's in there. But it's in Guinness Book of Records. Another interesting thing, Tosa built a wedding cake that was a chandelier, and nobody knew it was the wedding cake because it was a chandelier. And it was only when it was time to cut the cake that they released the cake by chain down and they cut it. There was light in the wedding cake. Suspended cake. And nobody knew that it was cake. Tosa built for Odiomi Mone, he built a Singer sewing machine when she was going to, when Odio was celebrating, a sewing machine. And everything, nobody knew that it was a sewing machine until it was time to cut cake that they came to cut sewing machine. Singer. Even the threading was made of icing. Tosan built a wedding cake that water was coming out of the fountain and the cake was not wet. And yet water was coming out like a fountain from the cake. But it was always said that Tosa can spend 5 days on a cake without sleep. Sometimes his wife will have to go and say to him, if you don't come to sleep, to bed, I'm going to destroy this cake. Please, 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 please. Then he go to bed. As soon as she wants to sleep like this, he will just want to stand up. She'll say, if you stand up, if you stand, my friend, close your eyes. And he will do like this. I don't know whether you understand. Because when you are doing what you were created to do, time stands still. The reason why it's important is that this thing called the human race is a race against time, guys. Because you were sent with enough time to do exactly what it is that you were created to do. And you were resourced with talents, with passion, and your personality, so that you can do everything that you were meant to do. Your desires have already been met. Your needs have already been met. Your aspirations have already been met. I want you to walk in a consciousness that everything that you need is already here. You only need to know where you need to be for it to be released to you. You are not supposed to search for resources. You're supposed to search for assignment. The assignment is already resourced. Okay, let's be clear. You're supposed to search for assignment. This, ladies and gentlemen, what is, like I said, you are sent with a word. That word, your assignment, is your message. Your assignment is your message. So, whenever you are operating in a place of your message, you are limitless. But you have an assignment. And your assignment, I said to you, you were never sent here for the sake of anything that needs to be done in heaven. Remember, there is no gift or talent that is required in heaven, not one. Let me be clear. Let me be clear. I know that you are a wonderful, in fact, you are fantastic with medicine. Doctor, GP, doctor, doc. I'm talking to you, doc. There is nobody that is sick in heaven. Anybody you don't help now, that's it. That's it. There is no need for a doctor in heaven. All your medical skills, zero. There is no need for engineers in heaven. There is nothing to be constructed. There are no houses to be built. Any house you don't build on the earth for people to live in is done and gone. There is no one hungry in heaven. Therefore, any hungry person you did not feed whilst you're on earth, that's it. That's it. There is no one naked in heaven. In fact, the clothing that we wear is not corruptible. It is glistening. It's like brilliant white. It's like light. We are clothed with light. Anybody that you did not design cloth for now, that's it. Let me put it in a way. There is no one who needs your help in heaven. Let me even say one that I'm sure that would upset somebody. Anybody that you did not preach to whilst you're on earth, zap, because there is no one that is unsaved in heaven. So no preaching, no nothing is required. Here on earth is where you are sent. With all of your gifts, with all of your capacities, with all of the things that make you who you are, it is here that it is required. But you are on a timer. For many people, they do not yet know because they have not entered into the consciousness of the Spirit. to download what is the clock saying. It is a countdown clock. But on the earth, you are counting up. You are counting your first birthday and your second birthday and your third birthday. In heaven, you are counting down. So it is count down from heaven. It is count up from earth. If you are conscious only of the earth, you will be counting up like everybody else, celebrating 40th birthday, sometimes not knowing that you have only 30 years to go. When you become conscious of your time on earth, you celebrate every day that the sun rises, not birthday. You celebrate every day with thanksgiving because you receive that and you know I've been given another gift. Make the best of it. Every day is the best day for you to do all that you can do. Let me say it this way. Today is the best day of the week. Write it down. Today is the best day of the week. And now is the best time of the day. Today is the best day of the week, and now is the best time of the day. So I want to say to you that you are a message and you are sent into the earth to help make people better, places better, and things better. End of story. You are a message sent into the earth to make places better, thank you, Sini, things better, and people better. So on a daily basis, you've got to ask yourself, who is better because I woke up this morning? What is better because I woke up this morning? And where have I made better simply because I got the privilege of the morning sun? The moment you are in that sense of consciousness, everything that you are sent to begins to become an opportunity to you. You can see it. Wow. You can see the people you are sent to, because now you are searching for who am I supposed to impact? And like the same way, like, we said yesterday, all of a sudden, once you say, I want to buy a Toyota Camry, what do you begin to see everywhere? Toyota Camry. I want to buy a Mercedes-Benz E-Class. What do you see everywhere? Mercedes-Benz E-Class. I hope everybody understands where I'm coming from. There's something around the fact that everything you desire, you become conscious of. What you look to your left, you see E-Class. You look to your right, you see E-Class. If you even decide that I want a silver Mercedes-Benz E-Class, guess what you begin to see all over the place? Put it down for me. Silver Mercedes-Benz E-Class. That's what you begin to see. You don't even see the black. You don't see the brown. When you said, I want E-Class, you will see all colors. Once you said, I want, because hear this, the moment you send forth your desire, your words from your heart's desire are charged with life, and it draws on the resources. So all of a sudden, everything to make your desires come to pass begin to come to you. You were never meant to pursue. You are meant to attract. You are never meant to pursue. You're meant to attract. You are meant to be sought after.